All right, so welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentary on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about Stacia and Nate from the latest episode of Married at First Sight, Season 15 in San Diego. So listen, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
and share.
And we'll see you in the comments. All right, so honeymoon's over.
Yep, back to real life.
Back to life. Back to reality. Yep. All right, so they move in, and I like what they're doing where they move them into an apartment so that way everybody's on equal ground, right?
Yeah, they've been doing that for several seasons now, which works. I guess it works best for them as well, right? They can put up their cameras where they need to put them, and everybody's in the same complex.
And they can catch them after dark, after the producers have left. They can catch them fights that happen in the black and white.
Right.
So Stasia's like, all right, no shoes in the house. We don't do that around these parts. And then, of course, there's the conversation that every couple, I think, goes through as far as toilet seat up or down.
Yes, I don't want to fall in.
Then put it down.
You can also, when you use it, put it down because it comes down.
But it also goes up.
It does.
So, all right. So, but then they've got one sink, and Stasia's like, yeah, I need all my hair, all my makeup, all my teeth accessories, all of those things. I need them there. You can have the drawers.
And he's like, I don't get no counter space. None? How selfish are you?
That's why in our house we have 2 sinks.
Right. But I'm assuming this is still a 2-bedroom, right? With 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, because in one of the other couples, they talked about their bathroom. So
right.
I don't know. So they started talking, and they're trying to, now that they're living together, trying to make sure that they're on the same page as far as some things. Right. And he makes a confession that sometimes he's so tired from the gym that he'll just come and lay down in bed after the gym.
I normally don't lay down in bed after the gym. Now I can see me on the couch or sitting up,
Right.
And she's like, okay, you mean under the covers? Or what does this look like when you sweaty?
Right.
So.
And immediately I thought of from like 2 seasons ago, Bao.
Oh, yeah.
Because Bao was the same way. And her guy had a fit. He was like,
you gotta wash.
You're dirty.
Yeah, because he liked to wash every 30 seconds.
Yes. So they're waking up. She's like, the toilet seat, it's up.
It's up.
Sorry, it's part of life.
Well, and he's trying to get used to being married to someone. So I get it why it would be up.
Yeah.
So
they do go. One of the great things is they do go to each other's places,
right,
to pick up stuff, but also it gives them an idea of who they're going to be living with, right? And so they go to her house, and she's got a nice place.
It looks unlived.
It does.
It looks like nobody lives there.
It looks like she staged it. Right.
Right. Like someone can come in and say, oh, I want my model home to look like, it could look just like this because it's the model home.
Because there's the like tray and flowers and vase, whatever that she had on the bed.
Yeah, which is a nice touch.
It is.
But the way I work, I'm glad, look, I'm getting in the bathroom, taking a shower, getting everything ready. I don't even make my bed up. So I can't.
We're getting right back in it a few hours later.
Now, if it was the weekend and we were having company,
right,
and I want to do something like that because I'm going to show my house, I'm for it. But every day to set up, I don't have time for that.
Because she had to decorate, because she asked him, she's at least asking, can we have this? Can we do this? Can we do that?
Yeah, can we bring this? And he was like, did you do all this for me? Like, did you set this up for me? She's like, no, I do this every morning. He was like, you set this up for me. You just wanted to press me. She's like, no, I do this every morning. And then she was like, can I bring it? And he was like, yeah, you can bring it. And then he was like, well, can it be a little manly? Like, because it tends to be on the feminine side. And that's another thing. When you decide to decorate a home for both of you, it should reflect a balanced compilation that there's a couple living here.
Right.
and not just a woman.
Right. Because when we got married, I was like, do whatever you want as far as decorating.
No flowers.
I'm not sleeping on flowers.
No flowers.
I'm not doing that.
I don't want any flowers. You can get any company you want. Just make sure it don't have no flowers. Like, okay.
That was just me. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be waking up in daisies and daffodils. Sorry. Because he's even looking at all the decorative pillows. He's like, that looks uncomfortable. That's a little too much. It's like, well, they're decorative.
The decorations.
It's like, for what? So
So
then they get into a conversation about she wants a $700 espresso machine. Mm-hmm. Not the Keurig. Because he's like, oh, the Keurig is. She's like, no, I don't want the Keurig. I got one of those. Mm-hmm. I want the $700 espresso. So then they start working through the math.
right.
Because she goes, I guess, every day.
Right.
Gets her espresso.
Right.
And
is she truly getting an espresso? Or are we talking about a cappuccino? What are we talking about? Are we talking?
You just get a flat white, or what are you doing?
Right. Are we talking about, a frappuccino?
Right.
Because that's not real.
Yeah. Now, if that's what she does,
right.
It does make sense from a financial standpoint.
Right, because I thought he was proving
that it would be worth their while, but he was trying to disprove it.
He was trying to disprove it.
And his math,
I was like,
his interpretation of the math wasn't mathing.
Right. Right, because I was like, well, I thought he was like, okay, yeah, that would be a good idea. Because he was like, okay, well, how much is it? And then she said, fine, let's add sugar. Let's add,
beans. Let's add the milk.
Beans. It's still less if we pay $700.
It's like, well, we got to rethink that. We got to retalk about it.
Right. I'm like, what? But the question is she going to, does she actually get espresso? That's the real question.
The real question is, why does she need that every day? Right?
Because she wants it.
She wants it. I get that.
Right.
I understand that. Right.
It's kind of like she could afford it before they got married.
She can, absolutely. So there's not an issue as far as, I'm just like, I can't do coffee every day. I have a cup of coffee.
I can do coffee every day.
I can't do it every day.
So like even this morning I had coffee, even though I didn't eat. I had cereal, but it wasn't together. But.
And welcome to our dietary.
I'm just saying. Now sometimes I do be like, I don't feel like coffee, right. And then I might get hot tea. Mm-hmm. And sometimes depending on what I'm eating, I feel like it's a good blend. I feel like when you drink certain things together, mm-hmm. It just makes the palate just perfect for what you're eating.
Gotcha.
Just me. Just
you. All right. But he does say in one of those, asides with the producers, like he thinks that she's a diva, or he says she's a diva.
Okay. I'm glad you're catching up.
Yeah. So then they go to her place or his place.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, that's cute."
Right. But she was like, "Oh, okay, this is pretty clean. All right, not too bad." And then we get to that closet we've been talking about, where there is nothing.
There's no structure. There's no organization.
And it is towels. She's like, these towels? He's like, yeah, they're dirty.
So then that does then start to her critiquing. She's like, oh, it's dusty. There's water stains.
Right.
And then she gets to the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And Brumman got Quaker Oats boxes from like 1942. He just got a bunch that are just sitting there empty.
Yeah. I understand that. People don't want to throw nothing away, mm-hmm. But there ain't nothing in it.
And then he got wine glasses.
Right.
With dried wine.
Dried wine in it. I'm like, so after you used them, it's like he knew she was coming, and so what he had on the counter, he just moved
into the cabinet.
Instead of like, because he's like, yeah, his sink. He said, only got one thing in the sink. Nah, no wine glasses were in the sink 5 months ago.
So, but then, her question is, well, has he had somebody over to drink wine? Mm-hmm. Now, in the after party, he says that no,
it was 5 months ago.
It was 5 months ago. Nate, you could have just said you and your boys came over and you had wine.
I would have.
I'd believe that.
And that's what I was thinking, because you can drink wine with men and have conversation. Man, you want a glass of wine, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean,
if that's your drink of choice, that's your drink of choice, right?
Drink of choice.
So there's nothing we can find out as far as more, unless it comes up later as far as the wine glasses. But I don't necessarily believe the 5 month story.
The way he did those Quaker Oats, It could have been just sitting up there, or he could have had it out on the counter.
So he hasn't had wine in 5 months?
I don't know. I'm just saying. They're dirty.
Yeah.
The poor part is, to me, he didn't even rinse them out.
Right.
Someone drank that at him, and he put them back up in the cabinet.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Then I was thinking, what if he had an old girl that was at his
Shut
wedding?
up. Shut up.
We can watch the sunsets. All of us can watch the sunsets come up together and go trailing.
Nope.
So Pastor Cal shows up for all the couples this week. And Pastor Cal's like you know, talking to Stacia, she looks more happy now that she's married than she did when he first met her.
She's like, no, I didn't. He's like, nah, girl.
Yeah.
You weren't smiling at all. I ain't see no teeth.
You had a resting face.
Okay?
Yeah.
And now you all smiles and giggling. Marriage was the best thing that happened to you.
Saved your life. So they talk about their goals as far as marriage, wanting to be on the same page, being a boss couple, what have you. And Pascal's like, so Stacia, you good with his money? And she's like, she's fine with his income, because she did say from the beginning, she did say that, you know, she was okay with that. She wasn't, that wasn't going to be a deal breaker for her.
And boy, she shared that much. She gave that amount so quick. She put it right out there. This is how much I make. Oh, last season, we couldn't even hardly get it out of one dude.
Right.
We didn't know how many figures he made. But she was very quick to tell her.
She had no problem telling it.
At all.
At all. And then after Pastor Cal leaves, they just talk about, essentially, she wants to get deeper into some conversations. She wants deeper conversations with him.
Right. Because even when they were on the couch, you know, he was putting a lot of pressure on himself, I believe, concerning about when they're going to have kids, because he wants to be making a certain amount of money.
Right.
And which I wish she would have brought up was like, well, yeah, I don't have any problem with what he's making because I asked him to sign a post-nup. I think that would have been a very good conversation to have.
Yeah.
And maybe they did have that and that didn't get on camera.
Yeah.
But making sure he understands, because he's like, I want to be making a certain amount of money when we have kids.
Yeah.
And Pastor Cal was trying to bring them together. Like, no, it's your money and her money coming together. Yes and no, until I do something wrong. So is there a great understanding that as long as they're together, that it's not her money and his money.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
And like you said, the conversation in the kitchen about him saying, I don't have any feelings for my biological
For his mother. Yeah.
And I get what he's saying, because I had a grandfather my mom would have us go see during the summer with her. But outside of that, he never interacted with us. So she called me to say, I'm going to say it, her dad died. Not my grandfather. Her dad died.
Right.
She said, hey, my dad died. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you okay? Yeah, I'll be fine. Okay. And for me, I had no feelings.
Yeah.
I had almost no care in the world.
Right, because there was no connection there.
There was no connection there. So I get his perspective. Now, what I was able to kind of process through is that I felt sad that I had no connection.
Right.
And that's where my sadness come. Like, this person was supposed to be a big part of my life as a grandfather, my mother's dad.
Yeah.
And he passed away, and I had no tear. It would you might as well told me a stranger died.
Right. That's kind of how you took it. It was like her telling you that the neighbor down the street passed away.
Right. That I know nothing of. I'm like, oh, sorry to hear that. How he died, you know.
Right.
And Stacia was like, well, I don't know how he's going to connect with me, you know, not having a father in my life and how that makes me feel. But she on his side, she needs to be able to connect with him that he doesn't have any feelings if his mother's never been present.
Yeah.
You know, and they had a connection in relationship.
And people will handle that father wound, that mother wound. They'll handle that differently, right? Some people, it is traumatic where, it's traumatic either way, right?
Either way is traumatic.
But it's how some people handle it where they're like, that's fine, I'm good. it's his loss or their loss, right? Others will handle it like, why was I not good enough, or why was I not the right person, right?
Right.
So they're both having the same issue. I think they're just impacting them differently.
Right. And I think if she will understand, okay, he's just totally disconnected, but maybe what he does need to be in touch with him is that the feelings of not being able to feel about his mother.
Yeah.
And that's what I think she wants him to get to the point of, like, tell me how that feels not to have no feeling.
Yeah.
But she's not able to communicate what's going on with him in that area. So.
Okay. So that was pretty much it for them.
Yeah.
Next week, it looks like they're having a party, and
I think it's probably invite the family and friends.
yeah, I think
over.
that's probably what it is. And so talking about having kids and how that's impacting him as far as what he's thinking. So we'll see. Right now, I'm still good with them as a couple at the end.
Oh yeah,
I think they're making the right progress.
Yeah, I think obviously it's a growing pain.
Yes.
They're getting to know each other, they're living with each other, trying to make those compromises, and especially when you have that one bathroom with the one sink, and trying to go to the bathroom. Remember, you got to check the toilet seat because you don't know if somebody put it down or not, because you can fall in.
Yep.
So all those wonderful good things about being married.
Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, that's it for this one. Make sure you check out the other videos that we're doing on the other couples from this week of Married at First Sight, and we'll see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.